Alright, cool. Camera's not working. Hold on a second. I apologize. There we go, y'all. Alright, Bulls lose in Toronto, 113-104. I thought this was a winnable game. I'm going to be honest. I'm not very happy right now with how the Bulls lost this one. The Bulls lost to the Celtics, for example. I was happy with that loss, honestly. I thought the Bulls played very well in that game. And there are definitely things that, you can always make adjustments. But this was one where it's like the Bulls should have won this one. Against the Celtics, top tier team, there's a difference. But this one is one where I'm like, the Bulls need to win this one. And I'm pretty upset right now. If you've looked at my Twitter, I'm not happy with the coaching right now. I'm actually usually like a Donovan defender, but this one's on him. Like he has to take a lot of blame on this one. And if the Bulls don't win tomorrow, I think honestly, it should be a fireable offense because Raptors don't have Pascal Siakam. They're playing a gimmick defense that we're gonna break down a lot in this live stream, but it's just straight up inexcusable right now that Billy Donovan has seen this defense for now 3 straight seasons by the Toronto Raptors, and he still hasn't been able to figure it out. I don't know why it's he still hasn't been able to figure it out. This is something that he should have figured out a long time ago. But right now we're looking at 3 straight seasons of the Toronto Raptors playing the exact same defense, and the Bulls still haven't figured it out. It's on Donovan 100%. This isn't on DeRozan. This is on Billy Donovan. You should have known that this was the defense coming into this game because they've done it every single time you face them. They've done this exact same defense. It's the same defense. We've seen it all the time. And it just bothers me that the Bulls are still falling into this trap of they're playing too fast. They start shooting threes. They start turning the ball over, and it's because of this Raptors defense. And I'm livid right now because it just bothers me seeing the same mistakes every single year. This Raptors team, this is what they do. They play a weird defense. They have length everywhere. They don't play a center, but they really just have length everywhere, and they take advantage of it. I mean, everyone's 6'7" with long arms on the court or bigger. It's just how they play, and I just don't understand. This is just poor. This is just poor preparation by Billy Donovan, and the coaching staff. Just straight up. Let's just call it as it is. I know the Bulls obviously they didn't have a practice, so you go from Boston, you go to Toronto, but this is just you should have been preparing for this for a while now, and they haven't. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Couple of things when it comes to some things that I'm not very happy about right now. Rebounds. Bulls got out rebounded this game. They shouldn't have. And I think a lot of it was due to Billy Donovan's lineups. There was a lineup where it was basically Javonte Green, Derrick Jones Jr., the biggest guys on the floor, and everyone else around the team was even smaller. You had Dalen Terry, Ayo Dosunmu, and Goran Dragic out there. That is one of the worst rebounding lineups I've ever seen. And it's because you don't have guys even small guards like Caruso who had 11 rebounds today. You don't have your best rebounders out there for any position. And that's just inexcusable. I don't know why Donovan went to that lineup in the fourth quarter. I thought that was a horrible decision, and it cost the Bulls. And that was straight up inexcusable. Too many offensive rebounds given to the Toronto Raptors. They took advantage. They scored. I believe they had 25 second chance points on tonight's game. To double check that, but yeah, that's just awful. And other thing was 17 turnovers, which is part of the Raptors gimmick defense, which we'll talk about a little bit more here. As we get into it. But other thing I wanted to look at is points in the paint. I thought the Bulls actually did a good job in the first quarter of points in the paint, but they did a horrible job for the rest of the game. Just 62 points in the paint for the Toronto Raptors. But yeah, just straight up awful tonight by the Bulls in terms of points in the paint. It looks like we're not going to have... Oh, we do, actually. Let's see here. I'll have to go through this a little bit more to see how many points in the paint they actually got. But, I mean, let's just look at the first period for the Toronto Raptors. I mean, what is that? 3 shots made in the paint, a lot of perimeter shots. Not the case from later on. I mean, just straight up points in the paint, points in the paint. Look at that difference in terms of the shot charts. Just straight up how it is. So yeah, just a poor execution, or just poor gameplay by Billy Donovan, poor execution by the team. They let the Raptors defense get to them, which I thought they didn't let that happen to them in the first quarter, but it got to them as the game went on. And it just resulted in a really bad loss against a team that doesn't have Pascal Siakam. Fred VanVleet just came back. Even without Zach LaVine playing tonight, you should win this game. Straight up. And I understand if LaVine was playing, like maybe this defense doesn't look as good. But let me tell you, we saw this exact same defense by the Toronto Raptors even when LaVine was playing last season. So to me, it doesn't matter. We saw they're going to double... I guarantee you tomorrow when Zach plays, it's going to be double DeMar, double LaVine, double Vooch. It's how it's going to go. It's the exact same defense. But either way, the Bulls have to just do a better job of getting through it. Straight up. Yeah, I'm pretty pissed. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really not happy in this one. Second quarter was a big turnaround in this game. Raptors just completely outscored the Bulls by 15 in that quarter. Bulls defense just fell apart. I've been saying again, you protect the paint first, force them to shoot perimeter shots. Well, the Bulls didn't protect the paint, giving up 62 points in the paint instead of 52 as they did against the Boston Celtics. And again, I keep saying it. Protect paint first, force them to shoot outside shots. Raptors shot 27% from three-point range tonight. Bulls let them get inside all night. Not good. Not good at all. Third quarter, I thought the Bulls did a good job getting back into the game, but then the fourth quarter was just, I think Billy Donovan lost the game, honestly. And I'm going to show you an example of what the Bulls need to do better. So, on a play like this, let's roll back this play here. The Toronto Raptors, they're doubling DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic basically right when they catch the ball. So, it's immediately... you're seeing these two guys get double. And it's basically double the Bulls' best two players, force other people to score, force other people to make shots. And the Bulls actually have a few guys out there that can do that, notably Goran Dragic, even if Zach LaVine isn't there. I would assume is another guy who can either shoot the three or take it off the dribble and score. But even if you don't have those guys, there's still ways to get through this sort of defense, okay? This is the only play I have pulled up currently. I want to talk about it more. So we saw like Stacey King and Kendall Gill. They're like, well, we need to get back to the post. We need to get Vooch back into the post. And it's like, I understand what you're talking about, but it doesn't do any good because the Raptors are just going to immediately double team him, and he has to throw it back out. He's not going to score in this sort of situation. So on this sort of play right here, when the Raptors go and double Vucevic, he's not going to score, right? So here comes the double team right now. Okay, so right here, this is where the Bulls need to get better. Just straight up, and I don't understand what Donovan is exactly doing here. I don't know exactly what he wants, but there has to be something done here, okay? Now, in my opinion, Patrick Williams needs to move up right here. Move up to the middle of the floor. How many times have I talked about on this channel that making this cross-court pass is not going to happen? It never happens. It's one of the hardest passes to do in the NBA. So, Vucevic is doubled. If you're Patrick Williams, right, if you're standing here, you're basically useless right now. You have to move. I don't care if it's moving to here. Do something, okay? But in my opinion, Patrick Williams right here, you need to move up to the middle of the floor. This is like a college type of offense, right? Or college type move. When you see college teams go to zone, the way to break the zone is if you take the corner man and you put him into the middle of the floor. And Patrick Williams is very capable of catching the ball here and either shooting it, driving to the rim, or making a pass out of it. Because if you move Patrick Williams up to here, then I would assume it can cut right to the rim. No one's over here to stop him. Easy layup. But instead, we're seeing both these guys here just kind of stand here. And it's like, okay, what do you do? The Raptors want Vucevic to throw this pass back out here. Their entire defense, look at how they're defending this. Their entire defense is, please throw it back out to Caruso. Please throw it to DeMar DeRozan. It's on these two guys to figure out what to do. And I don't understand why this is so hard for Donovan and the rest of this Bulls team to figure it out. But these two guys have to do something, because right now it's a 2-on-1. Scotty Barnes is guarding both of these guys. They have to take Scotty Barnes. Occupy him. If you occupy him, the other one is wide open for an easy layup. But instead, we didn't see that. It gets thrown back out to Caruso, swung to DeRozan, and at this point right here, once DeMar catches the ball, look, Fred VanVleet is back on Patrick Williams. The double team was not taken advantage of at this point. That's poor job by Billy Donovan. I don't know why this was so hard for him. But, let me get rid of this. I apologize. So, here, now DeMar DeRozan has the ball again, and he is driving, and he gets doubled by Gary Trent Jr. coming off Alex Caruso. Okay? Like, at this very moment in time, Vucevic needs to move. Caruso needs to move to the corner. Okay? And Ion needs to come back up to here. Like, this is the constant movement. There just needs to be constant movement to just take advantage of these double teams. Because right now, if you look at the Toronto Raptors, like, Gary Trent Jr. has no idea where Alex Caruso is currently. So if Caruso just moves, this is much simpler. But he stands here. Vooch just kind of stands there. Ball gets thrown back out. Okay. Caruso's not shooting well tonight. The Raptors want him to shoot this shot. He was 1 for 10 tonight, or 1 for 11. He shot awful tonight. The Raptors want Caruso to take the shot. Okay. He decides to drive, and they're poking it out of his hands. All right, now we're down to 6 seconds on the shot clock. Didn't take advantage of either double team. Run a pick and roll with Nikola Vucevic. Yet again, I'm going to point out, Patrick Williams has just stood here the entire damn possession. Inexcusable. Tries to do this. Throw out to DeRozan. Well, DeRozan doesn't shoot threes. Not a good possession. Ends up being a miss. And then I don't even know what happens after this. But, all right, Patrick Williams tries to shoot it. He misses. It just, poor all around. This was just one of the plays. I'm sure there's many more. I don't want to go through the effort of going through all of them, but it's just, this is the defense that we're going to see tomorrow. We've seen this the past 2 seasons with Zach LaVine getting double teamed by the Raptors, right? Whether DeRozan was here or not, like the first year Billy Donovan was here, Zach was here and no one else, right? He saw the exact same defense. Last year, we saw it even with DeRozan and LaVine sharing time on the floor together. It doesn't matter who's on the court. This is the Raptors' defense against the Bulls. It just bothers the absolute crap out of me that they did not take advantage and score a layup off this possession. There just has to be a layup. And the Bulls shooting wide open threes, while we saw, Vucevic, I would assume hit 2 in this quarter to keep the Bulls in the game. I understand they hit those shots. But the Raptors are basically saying, hey, shoot that. Because they know that they're not snipers, right? They're not great three-point shooters. I don't understand why this is such an issue, but the Bulls need to look to score inside first rather than shoot the 3-ball off of a double on DeMar DeRozan or double on Nikola Vucevic, okay? You have to think score inside, get in layup off of the double team instead of thinking, oh, we can shoot a wide open 3-point look. Because the Raptors are basically saying, we want you to shoot the 3-ball. This was happening all night, and I'm very upset with it. I'm just going to replay this one more time. Again, Patrick Williams, he stood here the entire possession. The only thing he did was move up to here. He has to move. He just straight up has to move. And here's the thing, Patrick Williams wasn't the only person doing something like this tonight. Like, this is on everybody. Like, I'm calling out one person in this play, but this is on everybody, okay? I think if he moves up to here, we're looking pretty good. But he didn't move in this possession, and this goes on everybody. It's not just him. It's not just him that didn't move tonight. It was a lot of guys. Right now, Patrick Williams needs to move up to here. He moves up to here. Desuma was able to go right to the rim. Easy layup. Something, right? Even if, let's say the Bulls don't want to do that, then IO sets should come over here, set a rip screen, have DeMar cut through. Like, something. I don't care what it is. Just do something. Like, you have to do something here. Maybe it's even Caruso comes over here, sets a little pin down, DeRozan comes off of it, Caruso rolls hard to the rim. Something, right? At the same time, don't they want to keep the floor space though? So here's the thing. I've talked about this a lot on my channel as well. Floor spacing, it's not necessarily, oh, we need to stand in a certain position. There's ways to space the floor through on the NBA court, and it's not just through standing in a corner or standing at the 3-point line. You can create a bunch of space by player movement. It is very simple to do. But just standing here does nothing right now. Because, as I just said earlier, the Raptors want these two guys, Dosunmu, Williams, they want them to shoot the 3-ball. So just standing at the 3-point line makes no sense, right? There is no reason to stand at the 3-point line because the Raptors are basically saying, shoot it. We want you to shoot it because you're not going to make it. We're going to play the percentages, right? So there's no use in just standing there right now. So it's important for these guys to do something. I don't care what it is. Do something. Move. Go to the ball. Get open. Like, even, like I just pointed out, like Caruso, if you just come over, set a screen here for DeRozan comes off of it, Caruso goes hard to the rim. That occupies Scotty Barnes. Then you can move Patrick Williams up to the middle of the floor. He's wide open. Like, you have to manipulate this defense because right now they are so strong-sided right now. Like, they're basically pre-rotating on this right here. You have to move. You have to get open somehow. I don't care what it is. You have to do something. And again, I'm gonna go right at Billy Donovan for this because Billy Donovan should have known this was coming. This was the Raptors defense we've seen the past 2 seasons. Inexcusable that he wasn't ready for this tonight. Again, I'm a Donovan defender. He did not do a good job tonight. Straight up. Yeah. Here's the other thing I just want to point out here. Look at all the perimeter shots the Bulls had to take in the third quarter, right? They made 5 threes, but that's just not sustainable for this Bulls team because they don't have the shooters, right? 6 threes. So it's, yeah, they made it, but again, that's what the Raptors want. Again, perimeter shots, they don't go in for this Bulls team. You have to get more inside looks than the 3-point shots, but for when you're playing the Toronto Raptors. Just a bad job tonight by the Bulls. I apologize for my anger, but this was just a straight up, the Bulls just dropped the ball straight up in this one. I have another thing that I want to show you here. I actually wrote down a good job of the Bulls taking advantage of a double team. And it was Ayo Dosunmu who rolled hard or cut hard to the basket. And I was like, hey, look, the Bulls can actually do it. So I'm not just, thinking to myself, oh, maybe the Bulls can't do it. No, they can do it. And it was, back it up just a little bit more here. So, Vucevic, right? He has the ball. He's double teamed. Look what Ayo did, right? Ayo was up here. He cut hard to the rim. Even, let's say, Fred VanVleet takes Ayo Dosunmu, well, then Javonte is then wide open. Javonte can go up for the lob up to here, or he can move up to the middle of the floor, right? Because VanVleet is basically trying to cover both of these guys right now. It's simple little moves. Ayo cutting through here gets him a wide open layup, right? Wide open. It's simple. And even on something like this, I can even get even more nitpicky on this, where I think what could happen here is you put Javonte Green, set basically a flare screen for DeRozan, and DeRozan moves over here, and then after Javonte sets a screen, he rolls hard to the rim. Vucevic is taller than all these guys that are doubling him, okay? He can pass it anywhere right now, again, except for this whole cross-court pass thing, right? He can pass it even if it's across the top, right? There are so many things you could do with Vucevic if they're doubling him. But the last thing you want him to do is just throw it back out to the perimeter and try to reset. So just something simple as, again, Javonte coming over here, DeMar flare screen over to the corner, Javonte roll after the screen goes hard to the rim. Something like that. Even it could be DeRozan, set a pin down. Javonte just goes hard to the rim like that. Just do something to keep moving the defense because eventually something's going to open up. And with Dragic here, I know you just gave the ball to Vucevic, but if let's say this cut by Io wasn't available, and the Bulls don't want to do anything on the weak side action. So let's say Io cuts through and then goes back out to the corner, nothing was there. Well, then Dragic come over here, set a screen for DeRozan. DeRozan come over to the ball. Dragic roll hard to the rim. Again, something. I don't care what it is. Just do something. Like, you have to move these defenders right now to get the open layup. But the Bulls instead were kind of settling for 3-point shots. But just a simple little cut here makes a whole difference, right? Because right now on that cut, like, it opened up. It took Fred VanVleet off of Javonte Green. It opens up so many other things as well. If the layup wasn't there, there's other guys open because of it. So yeah, this was definitely like a bad, like, this was definitely an issue last year as well, Adam. Yeah, you're 100% right. This was 1,000% an issue last year, and again, we saw this exact same defense last season. Why isn't Billy Donovan ready for it? I just don't get it. Yeah. Okay, this is a timeout, it looks like. I'm going to show you another play of where I think the Bulls actually did a good job of taking advantage of the zone. So, what the Bulls started doing here was putting DeMar DeRozan as a screener because they're hounding him basically on the defensive end, right? So, here comes the double, okay? Now, there's right here, right? I think DeRozan just straight up needs to just throw this to Io because there's a lot of things that Io can do with the basketball. This is a guy that you trust, either shoot it or he drives hard, pulls the defender, throw it to Derrick Jones Jr., right? Or if Thaddeus Young comes on over, you throw it to Javonte Green. Either way, I think he needs to throw it to Io, okay? But he doesn't do it initially. And I think that's honestly a big issue by DeMar, but he eventually gets it to him. Okay, takes a second. He gets it to him here. Okay, now Stacey King kind of talked about it a lot during the game, where you see someone flash to the middle, right? By flashing to the middle by Derrick Jones Jr. by moving up here, there is nobody on Javonte Green right now, right? So Io, because he's such a good passer, he's able to make this lob throw up to Javonte, and he's able to go get it. So for this Bulls team, you need to be aware of when there's like 3 guys up here, right? So you see there's a double team on DeMar, and 3 guys are on the perimeter. Honestly, 4 if you count OG Anunoby. Derrick Jones Jr. was over here. Because he moved up, Thaddeus Young was over here. He had to slip up to here, okay? This opens up the man in the corner on the weak side. There's all these things you can do to manipulate this gimmick or zone sense defense, okay? And because Derrick Jones Jr. moved up, there's that. There's an alley-oop. So it's that type of stuff where these guys have to make a decision. I wish I had another thing. I'm going to actually try to pull it up here, but I'm going to show you like how the coaches have like a clipboard. I'm going to show you an example of something that I want the Bulls to do. Basketball clipboard, and I want to kind of show like sorry. I want to show you like an idea that I thought could help get DeRozan either open. If it doesn't help, if it doesn't help get him open, then at least it helps the defense have to make some sort of decisions. Okay. So let's see. The Bulls were wearing the black jerseys tonight, so I'm just gonna have these black markings here, and then the Raptors were wearing red. So. All right, here's a tactical board that I just pulled up here. So let's just say let's use DeMar DeRozan as number 3, the small forward. Okay. Remember, Raptors, they're immediately coming to double him. What I thought the Bulls could have done a lot more of in this sort of game was you move DeRozan off pin downs, move him off of off-ball screens to try to get the defense to have to commit to him, okay? Because if they go with DeRozan and he's off ball and they double him, then the screener is wide open. And that puts the screener in a better position to go and take advantage of them doubling DeMar DeRozan, okay? So you see a lot of the Bulls plays, they kind of start out like this, okay? Where you kind of have the 5-out offense, right? Uh IL brings it up, ball gets swung, right? Um and you see them kind of throw back and forth, okay? So in this sort of instance here, let's use this example where you have Vucevic at the top of the key because apparently the Bulls wanted him there all game. Um, let's have Patrick Williams come on over here, and you set basically a pin down screen for DeRozan to basically come off of, okay? And just this simple little action that comes in the middle of the floor opens up a ton of things for this Bulls team. Okay, so let's just simulate it, right? Patrick Williams comes over to set the screen, and let's say here DeRozan comes off. So as I said earlier, if both defenders, again Toronto's in red, Bulls are in black, both defenders run to DeRozan while DeRozan's coming over here, right? Well then Patrick Williams is wide open to the cup. Okay, if both don't come with DeRozan, then DeRozan gets a one-on-one matchup in the middle of the floor. He can shoot this. Okay. If they switch, which I wouldn't be too surprised about, then you could throw it to DeRozan here. Then the double team is going to come from somewhere, right? But you see in just this position, if the double team comes with DeRozan catching the ball with a live dribble at the elbow instead of him catching the ball out on the perimeter, like I don't care where it comes from. If it comes from the 5 position, right? Vucevic goes to the rim, easy, right? And you dump off this, or sorry, you dump off the ball to Vucevic. Okay, if it comes uh if it comes from whoever's playing the 2 position, so in this case Alex Caruso, right, comes from over here. Well, Caruso can still cut to the rim this way, or ideally the other thing you could do, Patrick Williams moves through here, takes his defender with him, and Caruso flares out to the corner, wide open 3-point shot, right? Or even in this case, he still cuts to the rim hard. Either way, it still helps. And then the other option is if this person off of Patrick Williams comes over to double, again, dump off to Patrick Williams. So what's important, basically what I'm trying to say is get DeMar DeRozan to the middle of the floor with a live dribble, okay? He is the guy that's going to get doubled, and double teaming the middle of the floor is one of the harder things to do against a superstar like DeRozan. Okay, if you double someone in the middle of the floor, the entire half court's open. Okay, but if what you're seeing here is that DeRozan was being doubled, at the top of the key, on the wing, and because he's being doubled up there, the Raptors are trying to coffin corner him, and it takes away passing angles, and doesn't allow room for DeRozan to throw the ball or keep his dribble alive. Um, but we just saw DeRozan just keep either running a pick and roll for some reason, which I don't know why Donovan kept doing that, or putting DeRozan, at the top of the key. He catches the ball, but it's immediate double. And it forces the other guys to do a lot more to just get the ball out of his hands. You have DeRozan here being doubled in the high post or the elbow, whatever you want to call it, pinch post. Like, it opens up everything. DeRozan can back up if he needs to. If whoever comes to double, immediate pass to him. Something simple like that will help tremendously. And I just don't understand why Donovan just didn't run a simple pin down for DeMar DeRozan so he can get some separation from his defender and catch the basketball. If both defenders go with them, you pass it off to the screener. It's simple stuff like that that could just help his offense tremendously. And I just don't understand what Donovan was thinking. It seemed like Vooch fumbled a lot of passes when he was cutting. I totally agree. And I think that's on the players. I'm not going to blame Donovan too much for that. But yeah, Vooch definitely did fumble a bunch of those passes that were like, it wasn't necessarily that he was going to shoot the ball, but like if he caught it and then touch passed it, it would have gotten like an open layup or an open shot. But because he fumbled it, gave the defense just another split second to recover, and that's all that it takes. I agree. DeRozan was catching the ball near the high. DeRozan was catching the ball near the high post or even halfway line. Yeah. Yeah. Even if DeRozan's like here, for example, it doesn't help that much, right? You want DeRozan to like catch the ball where he's like touching the paint, because it just screams, it just opens up so much more for this offense to figure out how to get through the double team. But I just think the Bulls are shooting themselves in the foot by allowing the double team to come at them like up here, right? If you're letting the double team come at you up here, like you're basically just screwing yourself. Um, you need to make the double team happen here so that the defenses have as much time to recover. Uh, because the other thing that I don't think people understand, like it's like, well, if you have them double team up here, then oh, you have all the space to work with. But it also takes a longer time to throw the pass to the next person, right? Because that pass is longer, it gives the defense more time to recover. If you force the Raptors double team here, these are like quick passes. Whether it's pass to Patrick Williams there, that's a quick pass, right? If the other if the center comes over to double, this is a quick pass to Vucevic, right? You want quick, simple, and crisp passes that don't take as long, right? To take advantage of this double team. But we didn't see that by the Bulls tonight. And I just, it mind boggled me tonight. It really just didn't. Surely this is a win if Drummond is playing. Honestly, I'm gonna actually agree with you on this one. I think Drummond, not only does he help on the boards, but he also helps a lot to get through this double team. Because one of the things that Vucevic is limited with is that he can't catch the ball at the perimeter and start dribbling with it, right? You saw him turn the ball over multiple times because of it. If you have Drummond out there, I think you actually see Drummond where you see Drummond like in here, which is actually my next thing I want to go to. So, for example, let's say DeMar does get doubled here, kind of like at the top here. Okay, I actually thought what the Bulls should have done, instead of having Vucevic out on the perimeter and kind of being the facilitator out there, I thought that he should have been actually down here, because if he's down there near the basket, the Raptors have to worry about his size. And if he catches it anywhere near the basket, it's an easy layup. It doesn't matter if someone's there or not. So it basically it's taking a defender out of the equation, because whoever it is down there, they're not going to block a shot. Because the Raptors, they're lengthy, but they don't play guys that are extremely tall. Besides, Koloko, who had a phenomenal game today. But so let's just like run something like this here, where if DeMar DeRozan, for example, gets double at the top of the key, which they were doing all night, right? The double is coming from either the point guard or the two guard from the Toronto Raptors, okay? So let's just say it comes off of here, right? DeRozan has to, once he sees the double coming, he passes the ball to this person, who then is able to drive through to the lane. Then the center has to come up, has to step up here to stop it. This is Drummond. Alley-oop. Bang. Right? With Vucevic, you can't necessarily do this because he isn't the highest flyer. But with Drummond, you're able to do this. And this is something that you see in college a lot, where the athletic big man is playing baseline, and they take advantage of it, like by doing this, right? Just doing a simple lob pass up to the rim, layup or alley-oop. We just didn't see that tonight, and I'm kind of confused why. We didn't see that. Now, what we saw a lot of the time was actually, in this case, let's say DeRozan's up here, the one came over to double team, right? And as this was happening, we saw the rest of the Toronto Raptors defense start collapsing. Okay, so ball's thrown over to the one. If he doesn't shoot it, he starts to drive with it, and right here you see like, okay, well, we have multiple defenders coming in, to stop the drive, right? And this is a harder pass angle to do the alley-oop from, if this was, in this case, Drummond. But what still can be done here is, let's just say this is Ayo, throw it to Caruso, okay? Now he's going to come on over. Now it's on Patrick Williams to cut here, because then Caruso can throw it to here. Or the other thing, that if he kind of doesn't come up, he can drive through here. Defense is already out of position, throw it up to Drummond, and there's your alley-oop. I just think that it's just, that's the best idea, to use your size near the basket. Because if you're putting Vucevic out on the 3-point line, they're basically saying, hey, shoot it. shoot that 3 ball. We want you to shoot it. Taking advantage of his size by putting him baseline. This helps a lot to get through the double team, and that puts the playmaking responsibilities on the guards like Dragic, Io, Caruso. They're all capable. Even P. Will is capable of doing such a thing. But you have to make sure those guys just have to do their job to make sure that the big man can take advantage down low. Is Caruso a bad shooter or just a slow start? I think Caruso is actually not that great of a shooter. When the Bulls signed him off the Lakers, his last year with the Lakers, I think he shot close to 40%, or maybe it was even over 40%. So I actually thought he was a better shooter then. When he got to the Bulls, he just wasn't really a shooter. I don't know what happened, but he's not the best shooter. And you're seeing it, in the past couple of games that he is not the greatest shooter at all. So you actually have to rely on his playmaking and other skills for where he's valuable on the court. But on offense, it's more about his playmaking and his screen setting or his passing, right? We saw Caruso actually had 11 assists tonight, but he was 1 for 10 from the field, right? So if anything, if DeRozan, whoever gets doubled, throw it to Caruso, he's going to find the open guy. I think that's what the Bulls need to start doing a little bit more of. Instead of throwing it to Vooch and then him making the right pass, which he can do that. It's just that if you're not taking advantage of Vooch's size, then it's allowing the Toronto defense to still get a good contest at the rim for whoever takes the shot. It should be throw it to Caruso, who then should throw it to Vucevic, or throw it to Caruso and then throw it to whoever. And throw it to the big man or whoever it is. I think that's what the Bulls should be doing a lot more of. But yeah, it is what it is. Looks like Drummond is also not going to be playing a lot of, looks like Drummond is not going to be playing Monday. So the Bulls are going to be without Drummond again. They have to, without one of their big men, take advantage of this double team, right? It's very important that they do so. But without Drummond, I know it's harder, but they have to do it. They just have to. And I'm giving examples of how you can do it. Terrell had a lot of impact because of his 3 points and rebounding. Tyrell, can you help me out with that, Tyrell? I'm probably just blanking. I apologize. Pretty cool playing the same team twice in a row. Could be a big win tomorrow if we can figure out this zone. Yeah, it definitely helped. And again, this isn't necessarily a zone, right? This is straight up just doubling DeRozan, and you see the Raptors, they're zoning up on the weak side. But it's still mostly double DeRozan or double Vucevic. It's not necessarily a zone defense. A zone defense is a little bit different. But yeah, either way, they still need to get through it and figure it out. Sorry, the rookie. Oh, Dalen Terry. That's who you meant. Yeah, so I thought this was a good game to actually get him in. I thought actually that was one of the good moves by Donovan. And he had some really good possessions. He came in, got a defensive stop immediately, stripped the ball off the Raptors, got the turnover, and then scored immediately right after. But yeah, I thought Terry was doing pretty well. And he's another guy I feel like that can help get through this, gimmick defense by the Raptors or this double team, because he's 6'7", but has the passing ability and the playmaking skills to go to the middle of the floor, catch it, and either drive right to the rim or pass it off to someone whoever's cutting or is wide open. I think he has the ability to do that as well. But yeah, I mean, I understand also it's a rookie and he's gonna make mistakes and not be as comfortable with the basketball. So I doubt he plays tomorrow because Zach's back. But yeah. And again, I just want to point out, I know some people are kind of like, well, why isn't Zach playing this game? And first off, I don't want to. I'll get into that later. But even if Zach plays in this game, it doesn't negate the fact that the Bulls give a 23 offensive rebounds, give a 25 second chance points. That doesn't matter, or 27 second chance points, right? Zach doesn't shift that. it's on everybody to do better. Um, Zach isn't gonna fix uh these numbers here, right? This Bulls team just did a poor job on the defensive end, and everyone wants to blame Zach uh, for the for not playing, and then saying that he would have changed this game. I didn't honestly or people want to blame Zach for poor defense, and this was just an awful defensive effort by the Bulls tonight. Honestly, you don't think Zach grabs those boards? Well, yeah, Zach isn't grabbing those boards. Honestly, I actually think Zach's doing a better job on the rebounds this year. But yeah, he's not grabbing those rebounds. Yeah, honestly, I don't think anybody's grabbing those rebounds unless it's Andre Drummond. Um, which again hurts that he's out. Yeah, just a disappointing loss, man. I'm just not happy. And I know I'm gonna have the stream be kind of cut short, but yeah, I know Sunday Night Football's gonna be on here, so I appreciate all the people that are out, watching my stream during Sunday Night Football. I really appreciate it. Bears almost got a win tonight, but unfortunate. I'm gonna go for a few more minutes here. See what you guys have to say in chat. Drummond, baby, need him back. Yeah, we need Drummond back, man. He's huge. He's a big part of this team. And I think he really helps get through this stupid gimmick defense by the Raptors. He helps a lot with his athleticism and size, obviously, and then obviously, defensive rebounds, something the Bulls couldn't do for some reason at the end of the game. Thanks to Billy Donovan's small lineups that he decides to run out there, which I don't understand it. Yeah, I want to address this whole Zach LaVine, not playing and stuff. Do you think the Bulls are just better than this team? Than the Raptors? Yeah, even without Zach, they're just better. This Raptors team, like if you kind of look at how this Raptors team and their rotations are, they're not good. Like they play like very finite amount of people. Big minutes for a lot of guys. I mean, look at Scotty Barnes and Fred VanVleet, 40 minutes for each. OG, I don't know, 38 minutes, right? And this Bulls team, I mean, just straight up, they're just better because Pascal Siakam is out tonight. So and Pascal Siakam is like the best player on this Raptors team, and you didn't win tonight. He's not playing tomorrow either, so you gotta take advantage. And it just sucks that this Bulls team just didn't. So yeah. So one thing about this Zach LaVine situation, again, just saying, if Zach plays tonight, I don't think this Bulls team wins because I think the defense was just that bad. I thought the Bulls didn't rebound, which he doesn't exactly help because the Bulls went small for some reason. And the Bulls have to get through this double team. He definitely helps with the double team. I 100% agree with that. But if you're solely relying on Zach to get you through a double team on DeMar DeRozan, you're doing something wrong on the offensive end. You shouldn't have to rely on an all-star to get you through a double team on another all-star. That's inexcusable. So it's just bad that the Bulls couldn't get through this even. I don't understand Zach's out, but like they should have gotten through this double team on DeRozan, even without Zach. How long of a leash does Billy have this season? I think he has the whole season, honestly, Luke. And again, I've defended Billy for when he's gotten criticism, and the funny thing is that I think he deserves a ton of criticism tonight, and he's not getting it really. But I could be wrong. I've seen people get upset at Billy Donovan for a lot more for other things than what we saw tonight. But I think he really deserves a criticism tonight. And I think if you're asking for the leash question, like I think Billy is just here until the end of the season. He has another year after this contract. Yeah. Bulls Reddit was blowing him up today. Yeah. I think he deserves it. Honestly, I really do. Yeah. So I'm glad at least Bulls Reddit was aware of it. Does that say something when a player paid as much as Zach doesn't likely move the needle in a game like this? No, because what the problem here is is the system for this Bulls team. I think it says more about the system than it does about Zach, right? Like again, don't get me wrong. Zach helps through this double team, and it's just because he's him, right? I think my point I'm trying to make here is that instead of relying on Zach to get you through the double team, the Bulls need to just do better and cut. And if there's a double team, they got to cut, they got to move, they got to figure out the holes in the defense. And Zach 100%, Zach 100% helps, because he doesn't have to do those sort of things to help the Bulls get through the double team. But the Bulls shouldn't be relying on Zach's, ability to get you through the double team. They should instead be relying on their system and understanding the system, getting through the double team. And instead, the Bulls didn't do it tonight. So, yeah, it's just bad. Because again, the Bulls should have won tonight. Better team, better talent, should have won tonight. They didn't do it tonight. Just awful. Zach won't help with 23 turnovers. Did the Bulls have 23 turnovers? I honestly didn't. I thought it was 17. Am I wrong about that? Or 23 points off turnover? Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think Zach has actually been one of the better ball handlers this year. So maybe he actually helps you with there because I don't know what it was, but I mean, look, DeRozan. Let's see. Patrick Williams. Sorry, no. DeRozan 5 turnovers. Vucevic 4 turnovers. So maybe he honestly helps there instead of those guys turning it over. You get to throw it to someone that actually is stable with the ball. I don't know, but yeah, just bad. All right, let me get back to my Zach LaVine thing. So for the people, I don't understand a lot of like this criticism with Zach sitting out in these back-to-back games. All Bulls fans have complained about recently when it comes to this team is the training staff and the lack of the job they've done, and rightfully so. I think the Bulls fans have every right to be upset at the training staff for how injuries have been handled for honestly the past decade and a half. When it comes to Derrick Rose, it comes to Luol Deng, Jimmy Butler, like even guys before this team that we're looking at, I don't think they've handled injuries correctly. I mean, I know people say like Luol Deng almost died. I don't think he almost died, but it definitely wasn't good for what we saw when he had that sort of situation. Um, yeah, but when it comes to Zach, like again, Bulls fans have been saying the training staff hasn't done a good job taking care of the players. But then when he's sitting out to make sure that he manages this knee that he just had surgery on, Bulls fans are calling him soft. Bulls fans are pissed that he's not playing, saying that he's not worth a max contract, and the Bulls don't know what they're doing. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. If anything, I think it's basically what the fans have been calling for, right? It's basically the fans have been saying you're not taking care of the players. The training staff's doing a horrible job. So when they actually start taking care of the players, now Bulls fans are saying that Zach's soft. Make it make sense. Like, I don't understand that at all. I'm just saying be consistent with what you want. If you think that players should 100%, no matter what's going on with them, should be playing every single game, even if they're injured, all right, fine. You can have that sort of opinion. I just want you to be consistent with everyone else. But in my opinion, I think Zach's being handled correctly. I think it's very evident that he's not 100% right now. He has his jump shot right now, and I think that's very evident. But his lift, man, on his drives, it just doesn't look right now. And I'm not worried about that at all. But these games off is supposed to help him make sure that he doesn't wear out his body early on when he's still not 100%. So in my opinion, they're doing it right. So I know people are going to disagree with me on this, but it just, in my opinion, this is done well right now by the Bulls. Low management is one of the reasons Raptors would win the chip with Kawhi. Yeah, I'd say so. I can agree with that statement. And even then, with Kawhi doing that low managing, if you remember in the finals, Kawhi was injured in the finals. He wasn't 100%. His leg was still kind of hurting him. I believe it was his right leg that wasn't at full strength. It was his knee. So, yeah, I'm just I know Zach wants to play. Like if you asked him, and if it was up to him, he'd be playing tonight. But I think the Bulls they're doing this correctly in my opinion. I think they're doing this right. They're making sure that because he's not 100%, um, they're making sure that he's not overexerting himself early on. Once he's back into game condition, he'll be playing a lot more. And the Bulls, they don't have another back to back until like December or something. So this is the last time I think we're gonna see Zach be sitting out for basically like a month plus, unless something else arises, obviously. Raptors medical staff is excellent, to be honest. I don't know what to say about that. I've actually seen this Raptors medical staff. I think that they're actually not the best. I mean, Pascal Siakam he's out now with I don't even know what it was, torn abductor strain, or sorry, abductor strain. Um, I've seen this Raptors team. A lot of guys have been out recently for them, including Pascal in like recent years. So maybe they're better than the Bulls. I don't know. But I think that was more so that they just did the Kawhi situation correctly than them doing better. But that's just my opinion. Um, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm just asking for Bulls fans to just be consistent when it comes to this type of stuff. You say that the medical staff for this Bulls team the past decade plus has been horrible. They're not doing a good job taking care of their players. Okay, well Zach's being taken care of right now, and now you're pissed at him. So I just think it should be looked at. You know, be consistent. Don't be a hypocrite. Uh, you got what you want. And then for the other people that I just don't understand why this is even a discussion at this point. Like Zach Levine is like he is 100% worth a max player. I got a comment on one of my past videos, or sorry, it was even I think it was on my community post where someone's like Zach's not that guy, and I don't exactly know what that means by that person. But I've always said this about Zach Levine that he can't be the best player on a championship caliber team. I think he's the second best player, but I never said he was the best player. And either way, though, second best player, third best player, they're worth the max contract. I think a lot of people they're just like, when they see this, like they'll start nitpicking with him, and say like I'm disappointed in our max contract player. He's supposed to be the best player on the floor, and I'm like, yeah, maybe he's supposed to be the best player on this team, but when it comes to a championship caliber team, he's not supposed to be the best player, right? Um, he's it's just straight up that's just not the case. But he deserves the max. He's an all star, right? Uh, he obviously helps in this game. Again, I don't think the Bulls win this game because defensively they've been they were so poor tonight, and I think Billy Donovan kind of screwed them over tonight. So coaching, bad defense. I think that's the reason why they lose tonight, whether Zach plays or not. But he obviously helps a lot in this game, and I think it's kind of stupid when people start saying, "Well, Zach, if only Zach played against San Antonio, or if only Zach played against Washington, uh, the Bulls win that one or win those games." But then they say that he's not worth a max contract, which I'm sitting here like, really? So you're gonna say that he'll change an outcome of two games where it's close, but then you're also saying that he's not worth a max contract. I think that's a poor job of making an argument when it comes to Zach, and if you think he deserves a max or not. Um, Again, in my opinion, he 100% deserves it. And I have full faith that Zach's going to be returning back to his usual himself when it comes to his driving ability. It may not be what we saw 4 years ago, but it's still going to be effective. He is 6'6", and I think his footwork doesn't get enough credit. So I know people are starting to be like, "Oh, he's never going to be the same." And if he's starting to age and everything like that, even if he doesn't have that explosive athleticism, his game's still going to age just fine because of his shooting ability and his footwork. That's the reason why he's 100% worth the max. But I can when I look at Zach, I'm looking at guys like Chris Middleton, right? Chris Middleton got paid the max. He deserves it, right? A lot of people have been kind of comparing Zach LaVine and Devin Booker. And Booker's obviously the best player right now in the Phoenix Suns, but I don't trust the Phoenix Suns to get to the finals this year. But again, it's similar comp. They both deserve the max. Even for a guy like Drew Holiday, I don't even think he's getting the max for Milwaukee, but he deserves it in my opinion. But there's all these comparisons around the league that I'm looking at, and I'm like, they deserve the max. I mean, heck, Kyrie Irving, I know he's having this whole off court thing going on right now, but for his talent, as a second guy on the team, he deserves a max. And he's not a defender. He's one of the worst defenders in the league. Uh, so yeah, it's just something that I'm a little upset with the Bulls fans right now, about how they're trying to say that they're trying to nitpick and say like, oh, he doesn't deserve it. Obviously you're gonna have the Joe Coleys out there who will always forever hate on players. Um, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Joe Coley called today saying, or Joe Coley in a tweet a couple days ago was saying that Justin Fields is going to suck against Miami, and it said there's no reason to watch a Bears game, and Justin Fields sucks and offense sucks and everything. Well, I mean, the dude was proven wrong immediately, and Justin Fields had a phenomenal day today. So it just don't get caught up with those sort of people that are just always going to hate on the star players, right? Um, Joe Coley did this with Derrick Rose too. He just for some reason was always kind of like Derrick doesn't deserve all the stardom or whatever. But when it comes to this sort of stuff with Zach, I just think Bulls fans they have to understand this is a 5-year contract, 4 years guaranteed with Zach. You have to protect him, even if he's doing this low managing thing. He's worth the max, straight up. And the other argument that I hear for don't give Zach the max because it gives the Bulls cap space, you have no argument. You're wrong. You're just straight up wrong. If Zach LaVine took $10 million less dollars annually, the Bulls still don't have any cap space. They don't get cap space. If anything, it actually hurts the Bulls because the only way to use this money that the Bulls are using right now to be so over the salary cap is to spend as much money on guys like Zach. So, if anything, they're just shooting themselves in the foot because then they're not able to use that money for future things. So, this argument that says, "Hey, Zach LaVine should not be paying the max because it gives the Bulls more cap space," you have no argument. You're just straight up wrong. The Bulls don't get any more cap space, right? The Bulls will not get anything. They will not benefit from Zach LaVine taking $10 million less dollars annually, or even $20 million less annually. It doesn't matter. Um, so yeah, I that's kind of the reason why I made this channel in general. Like, for example, the Io DeSuma situation, like people are saying like we gotta pay Io now. Well, we can't pay Io now. Like I wanna like educate Bulls fans on how things actually work when it comes to salary cap or transactions, right? I want to educate people on that because I can't stand seeing all these things being said that's actually false info and it's being blown up and put on, retweeted a lot on Twitter, and it sparks discussions that somehow get to, national broadcasts, and they say they act as if it's true, but it's technically not true. So for example, the Io DeSuma situation, and the Zach LaVine contract situation, doesn't matter if this dude's getting paid $10 million less. The Bulls are still over the cap. Doesn't matter. That doesn't help them. So, just throwing that out there. When it comes to stuff like this, I know there's another Bulls account out there. It's like saying Bulls. I think it's like Bulls Nation, like OZ. And he's like I think he's in Australia. But he hates Zach. Like he's just a straight up Zach hater. But they constantly just bring up like, well, why isn't DeMar paid more? But then this dude also was complaining about how much the Bulls paid DeMar initially. So I don't know what that argument's about. But either way, I don't care who's getting paid what. Just be thankful that DeMar DeRozan's not on a super max deal because he 100% deserves it. But take advantage of it while you can if you're the Bulls, and I think the Bulls are going to actually start looking into doing that. Moving forward here, because DeRozan is not a bargain for what he does. Do you remember what you thought of Bradley when he came over? I thought it was actually a good move, honestly. I thought Bradley was a solid minimum contract signing for the Bulls because they needed center depth, and Bradley is a young player who has a little bit of potential. Obviously, not a lot, but some potential to be a good defensive back, but it just didn't work out. Yeah, Sam, kind of a bummer we can't even use him in a game like this where we need size. Yeah, unfortunately, Bradley's hands are not trustworthy. He has hard hands, basically. Throw him the ball, doesn't catch it. And I don't trust him to get those 50-50 balls because his hands I don't think are trustworthy enough. I think defensively, Bradley's actually pretty good still. I know we haven't really seen him, but from what I saw from him, I think he's pretty solid. But if you need him to catch the ball, he's not trustworthy at all. And that alone will take you out of a game and not give you any playing time, unfortunately. So yeah, he has like insane rim protection stats, right? Uh, yeah, I think if you look at like the advanced analytics when it comes to Bradley, like, his rim protection is actually like really good. Um, but yet again, offensive side, I mean, it's I kind of look at him right now as like an Andre Roberson, but a center. Andre Roberson just was never ever effective offensive player. Um, but he was a great perimeter defender. But with Bradley, it's like great interior defender, but can't catch the ball, can't do anything on that offense. Thanks for the post game. It felt nice seeing how annoyed DeRozan was tonight with the double teams. I'm sure him and the team will handle double team better tomorrow. Appreciate you checking in and watching. Is it Medhawa? Is that how you say it? I really appreciate you watching. And yeah, I hope the Bulls do a lot better against the double team tomorrow. It's on Billy Donovan, in my opinion. It's on Billy and the coaching staff to figure it out. They better figure it out here. Because, my God, if we can't beat this Raptors team without Pascal Siakam, we're not beating a lot of teams then. Yeah. By the way, I want to say, because I'm bashing Donovan a lot in this stream, I'm going to praise him for some things. The Bulls actually came into this game, I believe, like they were either 7th or 8th in defensive efficiency or defensive rating in the NBA. So, like, this defense, typically, and I criticize them a lot, but this defense has actually been pretty solid. But if you also look at the best teams right now in the NBA, I believe Suns, Cavs, and Bucks, they're the top 3 best defensive teams in the NBA currently. So, yes, this defense has looked pretty good, and I give Donovan credit for it. But for this Bulls team to start taking this next step to get up there in the standings, they have to do better on defense. And this defense has been good so far. But a game like tonight is inexcusable. A game like Boston, which I actually thought the Bulls, for a little bit of that game, they were doing well defensively. But you saw them, the Boston Celtics, all of a sudden start really taking advantage of paint points, and that way they have 52 points in the paint. That was not good to see. This Bulls team needs to get back to, because in these past 2 games they've given up 111 points, 104 points combined in the paint or whatever it is. They need to get back to protecting the paint first, and then forcing perimeter shots. I know a lot of Bulls fans are kind of going nuts with this whole wow, these opposing teams are shooting so many threes and knocking down a ton of them. But as I've been kind of showing you, teams are going to miss perimeter shots at a higher rate than paint looks, right? And you're seeing it right now in these past 2 games where 2 teams are just taking advantage of the Bulls in the paint. They score a bunch of points. Doesn't matter that they shot 27% from 3-point range. The Bulls need to get back to their defensive identity of protecting the paint first, force perimeter shots, force the opposing team to hit those shots, right? I think that's extremely important. If they do that, we're looking pretty good again. But this is the game the Bulls should have won. They lost it on both sides of the ball, unfortunately. Not getting through the double team, and defensively gave up too many paint points. So, yeah. It'll be good to have Zach back in tomorrow's game. We'll see how he looks. Again, I'm just going to go through my whole spiel again. I understand Zach doesn't look great right now. I think he's shooting the ball pretty good. He's still averaging 20 points per game, even though he's not 100%. So let's give him some credit here. But he's shooting the lights out of the ball, but his drives right now don't look very good. He doesn't look like he's exploding off his legs, on both legs, honestly, when he drives to the rim, which is just something that we're not used to seeing with Zach. So I expect that to come back to him. I think it is important to remember that he did not play 5-on-5 at all during the offseason, and just basically took the time to rehab and build up strength in that leg again. So it's going to take some time for him to get back into that game shape. But I expect that to come back to him at some point pretty soon. But we have to be patient with him. And right now, I think it's about the Bulls kind of treading water. And not, it would be nice if this Bulls team was over 500 right now, but I think right now it's more about treading water until we see like the December and January months come along, because the schedule becomes a lot more easier in those months. And honestly, I mean, look, this Bulls team has gotten some wins against some pretty good teams. We got a win against the Celtics, and we were close against them in TD Garden. We beat the Miami Heat, right? Um, and we were pretty close against the 76ers as well. So there's some good wins and some good games already by this Bulls team, and I applaud them for sticking into a lot of games where they probably should have gotten blown out, and 100% would have gotten blown out last season. So I think this Bulls team is doing a pretty decent job to start the year. They just got to continue staying around this 500 mark or a little bit higher than that to make sure that they don't fall too behind the standings, because I think they're going to start taking advantage later in the season, and that's when Zach is probably going to be back to 100%. Um, so yeah, I understand if you're going to criticize him right off the bat because he's the max contract dude. That's fine with me. Go ahead and criticize him, but also give him his praise when he actually does do well, like we saw against the Nets, or when we saw him against Indiana Pacers. Right? You just got to be consistent with your criticism, and I think I try to do a good job of that. I'm still learning when it comes to this type of stuff. For example, I tend to kind of give Donovan the benefit of the doubt, but tonight he deserved the criticism that he got from me. It looks like he got a lot on Bulls Reddit as well, so I'm glad other people are also kind of seeing it. But I think Donovan's here to stay. We'll see if he adjusts for tomorrow's game. I hope he does, because if he doesn't, then I'm gonna be screaming for him to make some more adjustments, because that'd be a poor coaching job by him. If he doesn't make adjustments for tomorrow. So, did Pat play some 5 tonight? I think for a very brief stretch, but I think my biggest issue was Derrick Jones Jr. and Javonte Green playing the 4 or 5, and no Patrick Williams out there. And the other people in the lineup was Ayo Dosunmu, Goran Dragic, and Dalen Terry. So there's no rebounding in that lineup. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. I think Pat mostly just played the 4 tonight. I don't think... I think there was maybe a brief stretch he played the 5, but I'll have to go look at that again. All right, that's gonna do it for me, y'all. I want to go let you guys go watch some Sunday Night Football. I want to go watch it as well, but hopefully the Bulls can win tomorrow. I don't know about streaming tomorrow. Just so you guys know where I'm at right now, I am in the middle of the ending my quarter right now when it comes to schoolwork, so I am very, very busy. So I don't know how much content I'm going to be able to put out. I'm going to say I can guarantee a stream Wednesday when the Bulls take on, I'm not exactly sure who, but they play again Wednesday, and I'll be streaming that for sure. But I'm not sure about tomorrow. We'll see how things are, see where I'm at in terms of my work. But just be on the lookout for any sort of updates on my content. It might be slowing down for the next 2 weeks or so, because in a lot of final projects that are taking a lot of time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. If you have not already, I would appreciate if you would hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you have not done this either, here is my Twitter account. Go follow my Twitter for live tweeting during games, analysis during games, etc. And recently, I actually just put up a new blog article on my website. So go check out my blog with that link that I just put in the chat right now. So, want to see any more written content? There's my blog. And I'll see you guys probably in the next one. I see you, Calvin. Hope Billy can learn from these experiences as well, because he has potential as a coach, in my opinion. I agree with you. I think Billy has some good potential, but I think one of his issues right now is in-game adjustments just don't seem to be a thing with Billy. I think he just doesn't really adjust in-game very well. And if he does that, I think we're looking at one of the better coaches in the league. I still think Billy's one of the better coaches in the league, I guess, but in-game adjustments will raise his potential a lot, in my opinion. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Appreciate you guys a lot. Hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers soon. And I would really, really, really appreciate it. But Bulls lose 113-104. They play tomorrow against the Toronto Raptors at the United Center, so the Bulls should win that game with Zach back and no Pascal Siakam for the Raptors. But That's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.